Hi there, I'm Robert Hall, and this is your Convention Minute. On behalf of the host organizing committee and Rotarians from the great state of Georgia, I'd like to personally invite you to Atlanta for the 2017 Rotary Convention. We can't wait to welcome you to celebrate 100 years of the Rotary Foundation. Come experience the energy of Hot Atlanta, music, shopping, dining, sporting events, arts, and more. We have it all for you. We're planning a celebration to remember. Don't miss the centennial birthday party or our unforgettable host events, from barbecue and bluegrass to dinner at the World of Coca-Cola or the College Football Hall of Fame. Come celebrate with 11,000 local Rotarians, meet famous artists, CEOs, leaders from the top companies and institutions in the world. The 2017 Rotary Convention is an event you will not want to miss.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Rotary Club of Tulsa. We're so happy that you're here on a nice, crisp day. Kind of feels like chilly out there, doesn't it? This is a club where a bunch of good people come together to do great things around the world and in this community. Why don't we get started real quick by giving Tom a hand for his pianist work. And let's turn and greet somebody you haven't said hi to yet. Okay, it's great to get back together. I know we all have a lot of catching up to do, and if Trish moves 4 more tables, I'm going to lose her. Oh, you made it back. Okay. We have a great program, a very interesting speaker. We're so excited, and we have an extra special surprise for the end of the program, so please bear with us. To lead us in our invocation today is Kathy Gorell. Song and Pledge is by Diane Peacock, and visitor introductions is Joy Longmire. Now for our invocation, would you help me welcome Kathy, please?
Good morning, good afternoon. Will you join me in prayer? As we open the page of a new year, let us also open our hearts to new opportunities of service, giving, and learning. Let us never rest on our laurels, but seek new horizons. We pray for our country as the new administration takes the reins, that we might be open to new ideas and new leaders. We continually pray, Lord, for unity, that you might break down any walls of hatred. Thank you for this food and fellowship, and cause us to look for opportunities to be a blessing to others. In your holy name we pray, amen.
This fall we had fun with a certain song. It was one of our first patriotic songs. The name of that is Yankee Doodle. So we're going to do that again with a little energy today. We need a little energy. We're starting a new year. Yankee Doodle was indeed a patriotically minded dandy. In a way, he is somewhat like us. We're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, looking at the year ahead. So let's have a little patriotic merriment with Yankee Doodle. Yankee Doodle went to town a-riding on a pony, stuck a feather in his hat and called it macaroni. Yankee Doodle, keep it up, Yankee Doodle dandy, mind the music and the steps, and with the girls be handy. And now, John said keep it short. Now let us pledge allegiance to the flag of our United States of America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one
Hello. It is my pleasure and privilege to introduce our guests today. I will introduce the guests and their Rotarian host, and as I say your names, would you please stand? And as always, we will hold our applause until all have been introduced. Luann Muhlinger has two guests with her today. Laura Perolare from Italy. She's our exchange student, and she also has Mark Nellis as a guest. Welcome. Ed Verheller has with him today Rick Miller with Fund and Org. And Phil Viles has two guests, his daughter Amanda Viles and George Maudry. Oh, let's see, we have Don Woolsey and his grandson, Kyle Roberts. Karen Keith is not here, but she has a guest. That's kind of the way Karen rolls, isn't it? John Fothergill is Karen's guest today. Jane Roweeder's guest is Ernie Cothern with D&E Supply. And Richard Holmes' guest is Judge Wall, a former member. And Becky Field's guest is Jonathan Townsend, who is with the City of Tulsa and the Mayor's Office. Welcome. Mike Neal has two guests today, both from the Tulsa Chamber, Ray Hoyt and Vince Trinidad. And right over here, the lovely Linda Bradshaw has her husband here today, Wayne. And Kara Gay Neal has her brother here from California, Steve Onum. I can see that the good looks run in the family. If I missed anyone, I apologize. We do have several guests with our speaker today, and from what I understand, those will be introduced by our speaker. Thank you and welcome. Please come back.
Thank you very much. And Linda, we do have a spousal dues program. Yeah, just letting you know that we kind of like Wayne around. Okay. We have several sponsors today with Claude Neon Federal Signs. We have James Adair, Ed Monette with Monette and Associates, Kevin Moody with Moody's Jewelry, and then from Newton O'Connor and Ketchum, we have John O'Connor, Tom Clinda, and Daniel Ketchum. Join me in giving them appreciation for their support. The IBA committee, chaired this year by Casey King and Gene Martin, is off to a roaring start. So to tell you more about this year's event is our co-chair, Casey King. We're very excited about the work they've put in so far, and today is the grand unveiling of a big portion of that. So, Casey.
Well, thank you, President John. We are excited to start promoting this year's IBA Awards. We're off to a great start to the club's major fundraising, benefiting the Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation. First, mark your calendars. The date is Monday, June 26th. It will again be held at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, Tulsa. And joining us today are our guests from the Hard Rock, Linda Wall and Stacy McKee Redden. So would you guys stand up and give them a... They are once again helping us prepare for another first-class event. Something new this year, and the room is being reconfigured with a stage in the center and two screens that will show our speakers and recipients who will be presenting in the round. Also, we're expanding our High School Citizen Athlete Awards, and we'll be inviting the male and female nominees from each of the 32 high schools to be in attendance that evening. This is keeping with the original mission of the IBA Awards, which is to get our message out to the young people. More on the High School Citizen Athlete Awards will be announced later. Now, to officially announce the keynote speakers is the sports director of Fox 23, Nathan Thompson. Nathan joined Fox 23 sports team in 2007, but he's been covering Oklahoma sports for more than 17 years, and it's almost all of his life. He grew up in Oklahoma and went to high school in Bartlesville. After spending 4 years at Oklahoma State University, he went to Waco, Texas for his first job in the TV news business. In 1999, Nathan switched from news to sports, landing a job at KSWO-TV in Lawton for the next 8 years, including 4 as sports director. He's been on the sidelines for 3 OU national championship games and 1 semifinal. He's been to lots of other OU, OSU, and TU bowl games. He's won many awards in his time in Oklahoma, including a prestigious Edward R. Murrow Regional Award. He has one thing to say about a job with perks like that. It's great work if you can get it. Nathan enjoys following the local college teams across the country, but also has just as much fun driving around Green Country, reporting on area games, and getting to know the local athletes and coaches. He's also a newlywed. He married Fox 23 reporter Lynn Casey over the summer. He's been covering the IBA Awards for several years and served as a judge for the first annual IBA Student Citizen Athlete Awards last year. Please welcome Fox 23 Sports Director Nathan Thompson.
Hello, everybody. I just got back in town just in time from New Orleans. Great win for the Sooners. Anybody else go to the Sugar Bowl? No, you were all here watching, right? Oh, we got someone back there. Great season, obviously, if you're an OU, OSU, or TU fan. Everybody won their bowl games big. They all had 10-win seasons, so great year for that. College football now over in the state, but we're here to talk a little IBA awards, though. And, you know, I didn't really know that much about the IBA Awards until I started working in Tulsa in 2007, as he said. And from the get-go, I was just amazed and impressed, just the level of production, the level of event it is. Of course, you know, the names on that guest list, amazing every year. And the winners, so accomplished on the field or on the court, whatever their sport is. But I think it's so awesome that it's not just about being a high-class athlete. It's about what you do off the field as well. And we exemplify that every year with the winners of the IBA Awards. So it's great to be a part of that. Having said that, IBA Awards, you know, they've evolved through the years, and this year is no different. New twist. We're going to have 2 different keynote speakers, a male and a female athlete, so they're both going to tell their inspirational stories about their experiences and how their career started in sports. So that should be very interesting to have 2 speakers. Now, our first speaker was the first female winner ever of the Henry P. IBA Citizen Athlete Award. She was only 17 years old. And I'm told Ron Butler was worried she wouldn't be able to lift and carry that 20-pound solid bronze trophy. But she proved him wrong. She did it with one hand. And you're all going to recognize this name. It's Edmond's own Shannon Miller. She's going to be the first keynote speaker. She is the most decorated gymnast in American history. Shannon has 7 Olympic gold medals. She's the only American to rank in the top 10 all-time gymnasts and the only female athlete to be inducted in the U.S. Olympic Hall of Fame twice. She did it as an individual in 2006 and part of a team in 2008. Now, Shannon has won 59 international and 49 national competition medals. Not bad right there. More than half of those were gold medals. She was the first U.S. gymnast to win 2 all-around world titles, and she's the first American woman to medal in the individual all-around of a non-boycott Olympics. Her 5 medals, 2 silver and 3 bronze at the 92 Olympics. That was the most medals won by a U.S. Olympic athlete in any sport that year. In the 96 games, she led the Magnificent Seven. I'm sure if you're old enough like me, you remember the Magnificent Seven in 1996. She led them to the U.S. women's first ever gold medal, and the first time for any American gymnast, she won the gold on the balance beam. Now, after retiring from Olympic competition, Shannon got an undergraduate degree from the University of Houston and her law degree from Boston College. She then advocated for the health and wellness of women and children. And then in 2011, she encountered a challenge. Shannon was diagnosed with a rare form of ovarian cancer. She had a baseball-sized tumor removed successfully, followed that up with aggressive chemotherapy, and now she is cancer-free. She continues to be a strong advocate for awareness and early detection. Shannon will share the lessons she learned through the obstacles she faced as an elite athlete, a young adult, of course, from her journey through cancer. So Shannon Miller is the first speaker. Our second keynote speaker is Chris Herron. Now, Chris was a high school basketball legend in Fall River, Massachusetts. He scored more than 2,000 career points in high school, was named to the 1994 McDonald's All-American team. If you don't know much about high school or college basketball, that's big. That's as big as it gets in the country, the McDonald's All-American team. He realized his lifelong dream of playing in the NBA. He was drafted by the Denver Nuggets in 1999, then traded to his hometown team, the Boston Celtics, in 2000. Now, he had a season-ending injury. As a Celtic, he went on to play in Italy, Poland, Turkey, China, and Iran. Now, Chris has struggled with substance abuse for much of his basketball career. He's been alcohol and drug-free since 2008. He's refocused his life to put his sobriety and family above all else. He shared his story of abuse and recovery in his memoir called Basketball Junkie, and he was the subject of the Emmy-nominated ESPN Films documentary Unguarded. In 2009, he launched Hoop Dreams with Chris Herron, a basketball player development company that offers basketball training, camps, and clinics to top prospects in New England. Off the court, Chris continues to share his story with audiences, trying to help anybody he can, just try to make a difference in one person's life and influence them in a positive way. Now, in inspiring presentations, he draws on his own history to convince audiences it's never too late to follow your dreams. It's never too late. He urges people to overcome their setbacks and start making the right choices. To support his vision, he founded the Herron Project, a nonprofit organization. In 2012, it launched a national anti-substance abuse campaign called Project Purple. It encourages people of all ages to stand up in the fight against substance abuse addiction. Since 2012, it's estimated more than 300,000 teens across the country have taken the pledge to make good choices, standing up together against drugs and alcohol. So Shannon Miller, Chris Harrison are your keynote speakers for the IBA Awards this year. To give you more details about this year's IBA Awards, the chairman, 1998 IBA Awards, and the co-chair this year, Gene Martin. Gene?
Thank you, Nathan. A lot of things have changed since I chaired the awards in 1998. One big change I already mentioned is presenting the program in the round. I've checked the math. Every table in this diagram is as close or closer than it would have been in the first 23 years by moving that stage to the center. So those of you who sat in the cheap seats like I did last year, I'm not sitting in the cheap seats this year, but I'm half as close. As you can see on this table diagram, which is also on a slide and printed on the reservation card on your table, there's a stack of 8 reservation cards on each of the tables. The stage is in the center of the room with 3 Olympic medal colors to identify the levels of table sponsorship. The highest level, naturally, is gold. The first 2 circles, a total of 18 tables, are gold, and each of those tables will have a celebrity. Now, in years past, people who were interested in purchasing a celebrity table made a payment. This year, it was the idea of somebody I'll introduce shortly, that if we're going to have the highest caliber celebrities possible, why wouldn't we auction those seats? So if you look at the card, you're going to notice that the opening bid for a celebrity table is $6,500. And you're effectively buying a place in line. So the 18 highest bids, those individuals, those companies will have a choice. Number 1 being the highest bid, we'll call them on May 1 and say, here's the list of confirmed celebrities. We have, I think, 5 or 6 confirmed celebrities, which we'll go over in a moment. But you're effectively, on the gold tables, you're buying a place in line. I also noticed over the years we've had the misfortune of celebrities who have said, yes, I'll be there, and then they, for a variety of reasons, have been unable to attend. Well, if you are the bidder of a gold table and your celebrity does not show your bid, you have the option for a refund back to the opening bid amount of $6,500. Benefit being you're still in the best space in the room. There's a celebrity reception. In the early years of the IBA banquet, we had a celebrity reception. It was a limited number of people. We're going back to that. The Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Tulsa has called the Sky Room. It's the 18th floor. So those who are in the gold tables sponsors, they will be part of that celebrity reception on the 26th, starting at 5:30. There's other information about the gold tables. The next level will be silver. If we could get that slide back up. The third circle is actually silver. There is a space limit in the Sky Room, so we have what we call silver table sponsorship with celebrity reception. There are 12 tables there. Those 12 tables, patrons will also be able to go to the celebrity reception. Then we have silver table sponsorships, which will have access to the general reception starting at 6 o'clock on that evening. They will not be on the Sky Room, but they'll still be in that third circle known as the silver table sponsors. We then get to bronze table sponsors. The reservation card is very descriptive, we believe, but anybody has a question or wants to turn in a reservation card after today's meeting, Casey and I will be right up here to answer those questions and to accept those reservation cards. Or you can contact the Rotary office. We have some reserve tables. Those tables are a little further out, 12 of those, and then individual tickets round out the attendance. If, and we believe we will be completely sold out and 100% attendance, there will be 936 people in the room. Okay. Now, I believe we have, with respect to the confirmed celebrities, we have some slides. And these are going to show in alphabetical order by first name. We have confirmation that Burns Hargis, president of OSU, will be there. I can tell you that we are seeking, we've already started the process of inviting and securing David Boren with OU, William Wilson with ORU, and Jerry Clancy with the University of Tulsa. So we think we have the 4 major universities in the Tulsa area, but we don't have the confirmation of the last 3. Our next confirmed celebrity is, of course, Chris Herron. The next one. Now you might wonder, 2016 IBA recipient Madeline, and I might point out that it's actually Dr. Madeline Manning Mims. She received her doctorate last year. She was a recipient last year. She's going to come back and not just be a celebrity in attendance. She's going to actually present the award to the 2017 female recipient, yet to be named. Okay, next slide, please. Melvin Gilliam. Melvin, would you stand up for a second? For those of you who are OSU folks, you might recognize this young man played football for OSU for 4 years. He played basketball for 2 years, Big 12, went on to play for the Philadelphia Eagles. And the idea of auctioning the celebrity tables was a lunch, and he looked at Casey and me and said, and here's a teaser, well, if you had 3 Heisman winners in the room, why wouldn't you auction those tables? Well, we don't yet. Stay tuned. All right, next slide, please. Shannon Miller. Next slide. Tyler Lockett. He's coming back, and he's going to be the presenter to the male recipient next year. Next slide. Okay. So you have the date, you have the time, you have the location. One of the things that we want to do, Casey and I want to do, the committees, we want to encourage you to reserve your tables now and to start bidding on the gold tables. We've been busy. We had some people who showed an interest immediately after last year's event. Can you flip that around? If there's a yellow dot there on the silver or the bronze, those tables are already sold. You'll see bidding is underway on the first gold table, so we already have that started. It kicks off with this announcement today. So don't wait. As I said, Casey and I will be up here after the meeting. Not everything changes, or not everything changed 100%. Producing and publicizing the IBA Awards this year will be Margaret Butler of Butler & Butler. Margaret, would you stand, please? Having lost Ron last year, there's a big hole to fill, and Margaret has asked Census Marketing here in Tulsa to assist in that respect. So, President John, thank you.
Thank you, Gene and Casey. I know they hit the ground running probably a year ago trying to get ready for this event, so I appreciate your efforts. And Nathan, a newlywed, where'd you run off to? Yeah, heard you missed IBA last year because you ran off and got married out of state. That's a good excuse. But a better excuse to come this year is it's your first anniversary, right? Okay, so we expect to see you there. Now for our Sergeant at Arms, Catherine DeCamp. Catherine, did you have a good New Year?
I did, and I missed my Rotarians.
Yeah, did you get the lump of coal I sent for you for Christmas?
It was in my stocking.
Okay,
yes,
good.
Thank you. I probably deserved it. I ate lots of lumps of sugar, I can tell you that. So I don't know what your New Year's resolution is.
Oh, I got all the coal I can give out.
Yeah. Mine's a workout session. So, okay, well, let's just get busy. We've got a busy day today, and I love having finds, and got lots of good ones today. So let's start. Where's Jan Johnson? Ooh, I can't see. Raise that hand. Oh, happy birthday. Today's her birthday. She's sitting right there. So everybody needs to give her a pat or a hug and a kiss and tell her happy birthday today. Okay, and Karen Keith, even though she's not here, see, Emmett, there you are. See, I have one of your old racing pictures up there. So, see your picture, your racing picture?
There you go.
Yeah, that's like back in the day. Look at that. Do you remember that picture from Oklahoma City?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Thank you, Google. So Karen Keith paid $100 honoring you today as a fine, and this is what she had to say. Reading glasses. Sorry, people. First of all, anybody who loves this city the way I love this city, I just want to say that it's people like Emmett who help make our economy what it takes to, this is a big machine that we're running here, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we need more Emmett Hahns to come up with amazing ideas like the Chili Bowl so that we will have the economic impact that we do have. So, want to know what it is? Here's what it is. She says, thank you, Emmett, for creating the Chili Bowl in 1987 with Laney Edwards. And she says that it has a $23 million economic impact every year. Now, you notice what season we're in, right? We're in January. Not a whole lot going on in restaurants and hotels this time of year for most cities. But thanks to the Chili Bowl, I'll bet you that most hotels are already booked. They're probably booked year-round. So she just wanted to make sure that everybody's aware of just who we've got up here. Somebody who loves Tulsa probably as much as I do. I'll give you that. So I haven't done that kind of an economic impact, but I'll work on that. So thank you, Emmett. Okay, and next we have Luann Bulinger, who paid a fine for her article on the new mayor and fellow Rotarian, G.T. Bynum, in the January issue of Lifestyle magazine. So there are some shots from the magazine. She did a great job if you haven't read it. She's been a writer for the magazine. Some of you don't know this, but our Rotarians are pretty amazing, and a lot of them have secrets, and I'm trying to find all those secrets out. But she's been a writer for Tulsa Lifestyle for 5 years, and she's the key writer for politics, the community, and the arts. So if you have a good story, you need to hook her up, because she is the one to talk to. So next, we have an anonymous $25 fine in appreciation of Mr. Ed. Mr. Ed, raise your hand back there. Now, as everybody knows, thank you, Mr. Ed, for all you do. We had 2 sets of football tickets that the whole season we were auctioning. And Mr. Ed couldn't make it to one of the auctions, and so I did the job. And this is what the bid came in after this. Okay, well, we're going to cut it off there. But Mr. Ed, you were missed, like really missed.
Severely.
So, okay, now I want to say that I know that we've all agreed that you can never get enough of Catherine, but today, even if we run a little long, if you truly love Chili Bowl, and if you have any family members who do, you need to not leave before the 50-50 drawing, because there's something special that's going to happen, and I'm going to let Emmett tell you about it when he speaks. So don't leave early, okay? So thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Catherine. We have one committee meeting today. IBO Awards is in room 233. There's cards on your table, and it's with a heavy heart that I extend condolences on behalf of our club to the family of Dick Ekdahl, who passed away Christmas Day. His memorial service is this afternoon at 2 p.m. at Trinity Episcopal Church. Please use those cards on your table to extend your sympathies and prayers for that family. At this time, I'd like to introduce our Rotarian of the Day, Doug Padgett. Doug is the president and owner of Pendergraft Systems, Inc., or PSI, and they are a systems integrator of fire, alarm, security, and sound systems, celebrating their 50th year in business. Doug graduated from Will Rogers High School in 1970 and earned his bachelor's degree in criminal justice studies. I was surprised by that. At the University of Tulsa. Well, he's such a, at Camp Enterprise, we could have used that skill a few times. From the University of Tulsa in 1974. Doug and his wife Debbie have been married for 46 years, and Doug joined Rotary in June of 1997. And he's a Club Foundation Fellow and a Paul Harris Fellow +2. He's very active as one of our rotational photographers, the Above and Beyond Awards, and as mentioned, Camp Enterprise. Please help me welcome our Rotarian of the Day, Doug Padgett.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm in hog heaven, as they say today. I'm at Rotary, and we're going to be talking about motor racing, two of my favorite subjects. And I don't really know where to start. I could stand up here all day and talk about motor racing and what Emmett Hahn has meant to motor racing in Tulsa. The Chili Bowl, for anybody that's a motor racing fan, is it's what baseball opening day is to baseball. It is kicking off the season. You can go to any race after the Chili Bowl and talk about the Chili Bowl. People there know what you're talking about. And it's thanks to Emmett Hahn for that. I'm currently reading a book about Tulsa history that John Bumgarner was involved with publishing, Fourth in Boston. It's a very interesting book, but one of the things that I like about the book is the discussion about the pioneers, the people that were truly pioneers that didn't see anything more than a railroad track being laid from Missouri to the river here in Arkansas, or in Tulsa, the Arkansas River in Tulsa, and chose to follow that track. And the mercantile developed, and the ranchers came, and next thing you know, here we are in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and those were true pioneers. Fast forward to 1983, Tulsa Speedway at the fairgrounds, one of the biggest drawing dirt track races in the nation, has to close down. So Emmett sees, for whatever reason, some value in the dirt at that track and decides that he wants it, and he gets it. So I can't imagine what it was like going home that night explaining to your wife that you just bought 700 truckloads of dirt. Is there a big hole someplace? But that's what pioneers do. They see something, and as he said in the Tulsa World this morning, he was quoted as saying, I don't know why I bought it, but I just thought I needed to. And sure enough, it's, I guess, the dirt we're racing on today, which is amazing to me because I kind of grew up at the track in the early 60s selling cold pop. It was one of my first jobs. And my heroes weren't the Johnny Unitas's, Mickey Mantles, and Bart Starrs. They were Chick Chiccoletto, Pete York, Angelo Howard, and C.J. Ruttman, all those cats. I mean, they were You could go to the race on Saturday night, and it was like the gladiators. I mean, they were in there fighting it out, tooth and nail. It's that way today at the Chili Bowl. I promise if you go, you will be entertained beyond words. Emmett's bio. Before Emmett Hahn was a promoter, he was a racer. In the 1960s and 70s, Emmett was one of the top super-modified drivers in the nation. Hahn's career included banner seasons that included double-digit win totals, championships at Tulsa Speedway, NCRA, and several wins in top events like the Hutchinson Nationals in Kansas. Since retiring from racing in the 80s, Emmett has solidified himself as a top promoter with the American Sprint Car Series, Creek County Speedway, the Tulsa Shootout, and the Chili Bowl Nationals. To date, Emmett has been inducted into 3 motorsports halls of fame, including the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame in Knoxville, Iowa, the National Midget Hall of Fame in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, and most recently, the Bellevue Midget Hall of Fame in Bellevue, Kansas. Now, before Emmett comes up here, we have a short video we're going to run and show you, but after that, please join me in welcoming Emmett Hahn up here. Go ahead and roll the video. Please welcome Emmett Hahn.
This last deal there where the guy was doing his little burnout, he's won this the last 2 years in a row, and so I want to say we have a small person that has won the Midget Nationals. He's probably 4 feet tall, but he's, this year you've probably seen him NASCAR Craftsman trucks. He's racing NASCAR. This is one thing at some of our Chili Bowl winners. It opens some doors for them down in NASCAR. They'll give them an opportunity down there, and if they get a chance to make it, they go ahead and make it. Christopher Bell is another one. He's from Norman. We kind of call him local, but he runs for Kyle Larson in the trucks, and he's done very well. He was here last week with our shootout. But I'd like to introduce my guest here today before I get started here. Mark, he's our fair manager. He's my boss out there at the shootout and Chili Bowl, and he hasn't fired me yet. John Remington, he helps Karen Keith, and he may be on probation. Scott Morgan with Arc Wrecking, he's one. Warren Cat furnishes all of our equipment, and Scott with Arc Wrecking, he has the equipment, and they haul all the big equipment down here to us. And Melvin, I was sizing you up. I was thinking about arm wrestling you, but after further review, I'm going to just speak. Hard Rock, they came on board this year. They're sponsoring one of our, how could I say this? Hard Rock is sponsoring Wednesday night at the River Spirit Expo. But I do want to thank the Rotary here for inviting me up here to speak. I'm just an old country boy from the west side. When you talk about, Karen Keith was talking about me being from, well, being a Tulsa guy, down deep. I've lived here my entire life. 12 or 15 years ago, the people down there in Houston wanted us to move the Chili Bowl down there. They flew Lanny and I down there to look at it, the Astrodome, and then on over to the Alamo Dome. And I can tell you, they offered us free rent if we just moved the Chili Bowl down there. But I've said this time and time again, Tulsa's my home. That's where I live. That's where I'm going to stay. And I appreciate it. You know, we started the Chili Bowl in 1987, and we had 35 race cars. We could, in fact, the announcers that day, I said, you know, we might introduce the spectators instead of the drivers because we could get through quicker. I remember how much we lost that first year. We lost $20,000, and I thought, oh, my God, this is the end of the world. My partner, Lanny, he owns the Devil's Bowl down in Mesquite and Lawton, and he was making money, and I was making enough to stay off of welfare, but I said, are you sure we need to keep doing this? He said, it'll be all right. And I remember when we was having trouble getting spectators, we was charging $15 for a ticket and couldn't sell very many tickets. And I finally, I asked him one time, I said, Lanny, I said, can we just back this ticket price up to like $12, get more people? And Lanny had been around a long time. He said, you can do that, Emmett, but he said, if you don't charge enough money, they don't think it's a special show. So he let me back that ticket price down to $12, and we didn't get any more people. So we rocked along there a couple more years, and then the big day come when we went to $30 for a ticket. And lo and behold, that was the first year we sold out. Since that time, and there's a lot of things that made this all come about. Winters Communications here that used to do a lot of TV for horse racing, kind of friends of ours. They bought so much time on ESPN, they could get some time on ESPN. So for 2 years, we got with Winters, and they filmed the Chili Bowl and done it on a tape delay on ESPN. And when it got on ESPN, that's when it kind of took off. Because when we started the Chili Bowl, and you say an indoor, they think about people that went to indoor races for umpteen years. They would think about going to like One Oak Center down here and racing on concrete, little bitty thing, and fumes. And so for us to convince people that this was a dirt track, it just happened to be indoors in a big building. It was like a pyramid. We'd finally talk a couple people into coming, and then when they'd come, they'd say, oh my gosh, next year they'd bring 4 more, and it was just a pyramid. And I was just telling Doug and them guys, the hardest thing for us to explain is just exactly how big this Chili Bowl really is. Last June, in the USA Today, they had I don't know what the name of it was, they got the racetracks eliminated down to 10 races in the whole world, and they wanted to know which was the most popular race in the whole world. And so the Chili Bowl was the only dirt track on there, and then they had a voting for the month of June, and when the voting was all over, and I'm talking about the Indianapolis 500, the Daytona 500, Formula One, the Chili Bowl ended up 3rd in the world. I mean, that's how big it is. So with that being said, now then the tickets are $55 and that. But now Winters is the one that came in and got us on TV. Then a promoter from L.A., Kerry Agajanian, which works for Tony Stewart, they had a company involved with pay-per-view. So we went out and met with HBO, and then HBO done a pay-per-view with us one year, and it done very well. It made us some money, but that gave us some exposure. But the most important thing that HBO show done for us, they had to sell somebody to kind of put the bill on the production. So Lucas Oil stepped up and paid $500,000 for production on that show. So after that, we didn't do pay-per-view anymore. Then Lucas Oil came in as our title sponsor. And in the last 5 years, Forrest Lucas purchased MAV TV, or 50% of it here about 4 years ago. Had half of it for about a year, and then went in and bought all of MAV TV. So Lucas Oil owns MAV TV. So now then I think this will be our 3rd year, that on Saturday night at 7:30, MAV TV will have our Chili Bowl live. And we go in, right now we're going into like 42 million homes. Cox Cable right here. They're trying to get in the cable companies. They got them in New York, but not all of them has done it. So if I want to go watch it, I got to go out in my motorhome and get DirecTV to watch it. But some of the people, when you talk about how big this is, Tony George, he owns the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and Tony George came down here and raced. He not only does he own the speedway, but he races too, and we're not prejudiced. We turned him over just like we do a lot of the others at the Chili Bowl. Jeff Gordon, when the Chili Bowl was young, he came and raced, and the best that Jeff Gordon ever raced or finished here was 18th one year in the feature. But Jeff did come back when Cox Cable was filming some local stuff here for us, and Jeff Gordon came back and worked as a color man for them. So the NASCAR people, they're just racers, but to the press, when Tony Stewart comes in here, the Richard Petty comes in here, these guys, then our local press will come out. Did you hear that, Fox 23? Okay, all right. But, and now about 3 years ago, Tony Stewart, he owns a racetrack. He owns the big Eldora Speedway up there in Ohio. So Tony called and he said, hey, I'd like to come down and help with track maintenance. So he came down to the Chili Bowl and helped us with that right there. Well, then this year he came down and helped us with the shootout. So I remember we was on TV, had Tony and I up there with an interview, and they asked me, Dave Despain said, Emmett, how in the world do you get somebody like Tony Stewart to come in and help with track maintenance? I said, if you look the way he's run this year in NASCAR, I said he's broke. And a lot of times, TV or newspaper, they don't know what a midget is or a sprint car. And most people are familiar with NASCAR, and most people are familiar with rodeos. And so I said the best way to explain a midget, what it is on the racetrack, it would be like comparing in rodeo. NASCAR is calf roping, and midgets is bull riding. The only difference between them cars and a bull is the car's got a switch on it. But I tried to touch on some of this stuff right here, and I know a lot of stuff I take for granted, and every time I spoke, a question thing is a good thing because I don't cover a lot of it. And if any of you has got any questions, I'll try to answer them. I've said this time and time again. There's two things out there. My wife does all the work, and I take all the credit. That's an important thing. And the second thing is I wasn't smart enough to create this animal, but I'm going to try to be smart enough not to mess it up. Has anybody got any questions? Yes.
What are the biggest changes in the equipment that you're running on the track today versus when you started this process?
You talking about the race car equipment? Well, there's another part of it that's real important too. It's the stuff getting this racetrack ready. I use my old junky equipment to get this racetrack ready. Now then, when you get successful, then Caterpillar gives you everything you need. But the midgets, I know when we started, Rich Vogler won our first midget race. Almost all of the midgets back then had a little Volkswagen engine. These engines in these midgets are four-cylinder, and back then you could buy, they didn't have radiators, so there's light on the front, and that's what it was. Then Mopar came in, Ford came in, Chrysler came in, and now then Esslinger and Toyota is probably the better engines. I know one of the kids that raced out here at the shootout last week, he just bought him a four-cylinder engine from Toyota, and it just cost $64,000 for this engine to run out here at the Chili Bowl. One four-cylinder engine. And since then, back when we started, you could go down to Napa or O'Reilly's, buy you some shocks, put on this thing. Now then, your right rear shock will probably cost you somewhere around $800 just for one shock. And then the bad thing is you have to have a spare because we're going to tear it up out here if you run long enough. Somebody Jack Zink was, when we'd go to the ranch, and he was telling people who all, A.J. Fort and all these people that drove, and said, this midget here has never been upside down. And somebody in the crowd said, well, it hadn't run the Chili Bowl then. Because they keep records out there, and we usually get 50 to 65 cars that will flip during the week of the Chili Bowl. And it's exciting. It's just show business. Since I'm watching, yes, sir. He's asking why we call it the Chili Bowl. Bob Berryhill, which owned the original Chili Bowl that made chili, was a big midget guy, big race guy. And when Landy and I started this, when he heard about it, he called and he said, hey, I'm glad to see this right here in my hometown. So I remember he gave us $6,000 for sponsors that first year. And we was trying to come up with a name on it. And we was a little concerned because that first Chili Bowl we had, we run it against the Super Bowl, and we was afraid we was going to put them out of business. So with Bob Berryhill in the Chili Bowl, and we run against the Super Bowl that Sunday, well, we just decided to call it the Chili Bowl. Yes. What kind of odds will we put on Rico? Rico's the short guy that I told you that won this thing the last 2 years. When Kevin Swindell won it 4 years in a row, you could have won everything I had in my pocket that anybody could win that race 4 years in a row. It'd be hard to bet against him, but as many good cars as we got, you got to be real good at the Chili Bowl, and then, as the old veterans would say at the Chili Bowl, you have to have a little bit of Chili Bowl luck. I know the year that Andy Hillenberg won it down here in Broken Arrow, the year before, he had a faster race car, got in the corner, and his hand hit the kill switch and killed the car. Then the next year, he's back there, and he's going to run third, and Page and P.J. Jones took each other out running first and second. Andy wins the race. So that's some of that Chili Bowl luck, but I certainly wouldn't bet against him. Yes?
How many entries are on the book for this year?
There's some good news and bad news. Last year we had 336. And this year, and we let them leave the rigs in the building up there on the upper level. And I mean, we had them stacked on top of each other. And this year we have 363 entries. And that's another thing about tickets, about when we finally got our ticket price up there to $50, $60. We're the only racetrack. I'm talking about NASCAR, Indy, whatever. This race, they're all reserved seats. It sells out a year in advance, and there's a waiting list. It's just like the Green Bay Packers. Somebody has to die to get a ticket. And speaking of that, 6 gentlemen, older gentlemen, they come to the Chili Bowl by themselves, leave their wives at home, and good buds. And 3 years ago, one of them passed away. And these other 5 turned into vultures. This one wanted the ticket, that one wanted the ticket, and they almost lost friendship over this ticket. But seriously, we've got 400 people on a waiting list just to buy tickets. So, and then Mark and them put new grandstands in this year, and we added a couple hundred more seats, and they're gone. I mean, if we had 2,000 more seats in there, we could sell them. I mean, there's that many people on the waiting list to get it. But it's just nice to be in that position. We're very blessed to have this shootout in Chili Bowl. And, you know, people want to know why it's where it's at right now. It's in the central part of the United States as far as population. They fly in from England, Australia, all over the world to come to this thing, so they know it's going to run. It's not going to get rained out like a lot of your races do. So, and then we probably average 10 to 12 NASCAR drivers that races in it every year. And so with the talent and the location, I don't want to brag on this building too much or Mark will go up on my rent. But we got any more questions? Yes.
You can still get a ticket to the pits.
Yes. What we've got, we've got probably 2,000 seats on the back straightaway. Then we got a stand over in turn 3. We got some bleachers down below there. So there's probably 3,000 seats for pit people. So you can buy a pit pass all week long. The only night that we have tickets, reserve seat tickets for sale, is Tuesday night. And now I'm not going to be a salesman, but Tuesday night's probably the best show. Because BacuWorks has a race of champions where we take all of our champions and have them another race. Because Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and Friday night, we run a fourth of our field. So they just run one night. So we have a fourth of them running that night, plus the race of champions. The racetrack's fresh. It hadn't been run on every night, so it's usually a little stickier, and more of them crash. But but we do have reserved seats then. But other than that, you can just come in and buy a pit pass. You can go down there and get around the Ricky Stenhouse's. For you men right here, Danica Patrick, she's down there with Ricky Stenhouse and Tony Stewart and all these guys right here. She's not hard on your eyes, but I'm going to tell you, Melvin, don't arm wrestle her because she's in pretty good shape. Yeah, another question?
Is Tony Stewart racing next week? Do we know?
Want to know if Tony Stewart's racing next week? Just a Kubota tractor. We're going to have him out there watering and tilling. Yeah. Now, our sprint car series that we run in the summertime, our sprint cars will be at Texas Motor Speedway in April when Cup cars are down there. So Tony Stewart, Kyle Larson, Ricky Stenhouse, Rico, them guys are all going to run in our sprint car show down there. But Rico, Kyle Larson, and Stenhouse, they'll all be racing here at the Chili Bowl. But no, he's going to wait. In fact, I got looking at him. He needs to get in shape. That NASCAR's got him out of shape. Yes.
On sponsorships, is there sponsorships for the Chili Bowl and the drivers, or do you guys have both?
I can't hear.
She wanted to know if there's a sponsor for the Chili Bowl and the drivers, or just the drivers, or just the Chili Bowl.
It's just for the Chili Bowl because Marcus went up on rent, and I need to get all the sponsorship I can to pay the rent. And the drivers, them guys are on their own. I own a car. If there's any sponsorship out there for a car, God, would you please come see me? Now things are better. I just got one grandson racing, and I used to have two out there, so it saved me twice as much money. Well, again, I know we're running short on time. I want to appreciate you guys, your time here today, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought I'd spoke at Rotary before, until I seen this crowd here. Now I can say I spoke at Rotary. Thank you.
Emmett, you talked about West Side, and I was a 16-year-old building a 56 Chevy from the ground up, didn't have any sense. And I came to time to get my upholstery done, and Lonnie Sewell, I don't know if you know him, but I had no idea what I got a hold of. That man was a pro from the beginning to the end. So it's a wonderful, wonderful community we have here for this type of work, and it's dirt and hard work and racing and bragging and everything else that goes with it. Thank you. Yeah, there. Thank you very much. So again, thanks, Emmett, for coming. We have a book to recognize today's speaker. It is Race Car Count. Emmett's inscribing it now for our adopted school, Celia Clinton. We'll be providing that book to their library. Also on the screen, you'll see today's volunteers that helped put this program together. Help me thank them appropriately with a round of applause. We have some project announcements. Alicia and David, yeah, they're around here somewhere. Are you solo today?
You know, I'm really sorry that this discussion now has gone downhill because Alicia's not here. This is a quick little plug for our first annual Texas Hold'em poker tournament next Tuesday, the 10th of January at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. We're going to start at 6 o'clock in the replay bar. Your buy-in is $50, and don't worry, it's play money. Okay. Play money.
Yeah.
But you're going to get a stash of chips, and you're going to get all the food you can eat and all the drink you can drink that you want to buy. And we're going to play cards. Did I say that? It is a cash bar. And we're going to play cards for 3 hours. There's about 10 seats left. So please either call Rochelle or get on DACDB and get your seat at the table. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Maybe we can get Tony Stewart in on that deal. Trish has an announcement for Scry.
Thank you, President John. Happy New Year, everybody. If it's the new year, it's time for Scry, South Central Rotary Youth Exchange. January 27th, it's a Friday night. We have 200 of our Youth Exchange students coming from all over the world. You know, they're living in different Rotary communities around the United States. So while the 100 Rotarians come and we go do our training, our club is in charge of coordinating the host families for Friday night. So thank you to all of those who've already signed up. We really, really appreciate it. And for those of you who have not signed up yet, a little bit of information for you. You pick up your student Friday afternoon or very early evening at the Marriott Southern Hills. Take them out to dinner, feed them dinner at home, do something fun with them Friday and Saturday. Bring them back to the hotel at 1:30, feed them breakfast or lunch. So really easy, it's a lot of fun. The kids are just awesome. A couple new things for you entertainment-wise this year that are options for you. MSNI, our medical supply network warehouse, is doing some medical shipping on Saturday. So if you want to do a service project with your kids, call them and they'll get it all set up for you on Saturday. And our Rotarian friend, James Pepper Henry. Jim, are you here today? Oh, there he is. Awesome. Jim said if you want to take your students to Gilcrease on Saturday morning, let me know. I'll get the count, and then he'll get some passes for you. So that's really awesome. Thank you. And that would be a neat thing to do. So you can sign up by emailing me, or I'll be right at the front of the room at the end of the meeting. So Friday, one night, January 27th. Thank you.
Thank you. While Catherine makes her way up, I will say on Scry, the more the merrier. So take 3 or 4 because they'll entertain each other, correct?
So I kept 4 girls last year, and we're going to have 4 girls at our house again this year. And so I highly recommend it. They're so easy. You don't even have to have beds. They sleep on the floor if you don't have beds. It's really amazing.
If they sleep.
Yeah, just on the floor. Well, we borrowed blow-up mattresses. So really quickly, Laura, I want you to raise your hand. We really haven't gotten to know Laura as much as I wish that you would, because she is so amazing. She's our exchange student. So everybody give her a pat, encourage her, shake her hand, and let her know that we do welcome her. We're hoping this spring she'll get back into more meetings. And so she moves in with us on the 11th. So if you all want to warn her, just go ahead. Now, for our big announcement, I want to say that our friend Emmett and our friend, I'm sorry, tell me your name again? John. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so bad about that.
John, John.
John. I should know. My husband's name is John. His name is John. But anyway, on to better things. So they have arranged some VIP all-access passes to the Chili Bowl for all 5 days. This is like a gold mine in my hands right here. And although I know that after witnessing my job that I did at auctioning, you would love to hear me go ahead and auction these tickets. But no, we won't do that. We have Mr. Ed. We're bringing the professionals in. We're going to auction these tickets off. They are, did you say the turn 4?
Yeah, they're anywhere.
They're anywhere, but you have seats, special seats. You can go anywhere. You can go talk to the drivers. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm going to say, here's another secret about me that you don't know, but now you do. I spent every season, every race night at the tracks in the mid-'70s because I had a relative who was a race car driver. So I've got all the experience on knowing how fun this stuff is. So if you know somebody who loves these races, you should do yourself a favor and get these tickets. So that being said, Mr. Ed and Mr. Rick Miller. Where's Rick? Oh, look, they're tag teaming today. So, so is there anything I need to say or do? You have what you need? You have a microphone? Do you want a microphone?
Two tickets. It's 2 tickets.
Tell them about it.
These are not even for sale. You can't buy VIP passes, okay? I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
I'm getting goosebumps. Come on, people. Mr. Ed, what was the price? $2,100. And who's the winner? What's your name, sir?
Norm. Catherine.
Hey, in addition to this, our buyer right there, when we get out there, I'll get them down there and introduce them with Tony Stewart and get them tickets autographed by Tony Stewart. All right?
Now, I've got Emmett, can we sell 2 of these? Can we sell? We got 2 tickets to that gentleman right there. Can we sell 2 tickets to this gentleman right here?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Sold right there.
All right. All right.
Very nice. Oh, this is a man who just wants to give me money.
Thank you very much.
Oh, now he's going to shake it. Hey, what about me? Shake my hand first. Okay.
I want to say something. I'm a guest here today of James from Make-A-Wish. I've been going to the Chili Bowl now for 17 years. D&E Supply, a building material supply company here in town. We have a car that runs out there, and I think I have about 30 tickets that I've begged, borrowed, and stole over the years. The Chili Bowl is something that all you guys, all you ladies that are business people, the best way in the world to introduce someone to Tulsa, Oklahoma. You can introduce people from all over the United States, all over the world, to what Tulsa has here that nobody else has. And I can guarantee you, those tickets right there will go to someone important, someone that will truly enjoy that race. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that was exciting. Okay, so for some more excitement, let's do our 50-50. Emmett, I'm gonna let you draw the ticket.
Emmett's got tickets.
I'm lucky.
All right, let's see. I'm gonna let our art guy.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me see if my arms are. I can't.
Is it yibbity, yibbity, yibbity?
Wait, let me give it to him because he's got a microphone. There you go. This is getting old.
Okay, the ticket that gets to draw for the card ends in 2496.
Who's our lucky winner? Okay, I promise that ticket was not glued to his big old hand.
Go up there.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Don't fall off. Wait right there. Okay, so this is what you're going to do. You're going to draw a ticket. You're draw a card, and it needs to be the Joker. If it's the Joker, you win the pot.
Half.
You're going to split with Rotary International. So right now the pot is $2,220 something. I wish I had time to work on this. He's going to manifest the Joker. Watch this. All right, manifest the Joker.
Oh. All right, Emmett.
FYI, every week I check on the Joker. It is in there. So, okay, thank you. Thank you, Emmett, for playing.
Real quick on our upcoming programs, we do have meetings the next 3 weeks. Let's get in gear, bring your guests. We have 3 great speakers. Michael Smith is a hometown gentleman that's going to come back and invest in our community. He loves the community so much. He started Pine Place Development. He's going to talk to us about his love for Tulsa and his development project. On the 18th, we have Shane Fernandez, and on the 25th, Mike Mazzee. So bring a guest and tell everybody what kind of fun you had at Rotary today, and go buy your pit tickets for the Chili Bowl. We are adjourned.